Thank you for joining me for episode 19 of my lunch break. I hope you're all having a great day, and if you're new, welcome. I've done a ton of research for this episode, and have been really excited to share it for a few weeks now. Here we go. Today we are starting off in Melbourne, Australia, and directing our attention not just to Newman College, but more specifically, the chapel. After some extensive research, I was finally able to find a construction date for this chapel of 1938. So they say. Home to two carved gargoyles, this chapel was yet another structure around the world with no construction company. I say this because it should be easily documented. This was not 500 years ago. This was supposedly 1938. Only 85 years ago. No construction company. They do give us an architect. They tell us who funded the construction right here. The building of the chapel was made possible by the generosity of Mr. Patrick Brennan of Yarram, Victoria. Although substantial donations had already been made by Victorian Catholics to the Archbishop Carr Memorial Chapel Fund. They give us details where the material supposedly came from, so why leave out who actually built it? They couldn't just go one step further and tell us? I ask this question because this is not the first time they leave out the construction company in these stories. It's the nail in the coffin for me. It's one of the main clear giveaways that the building was from the old world. If they're unable to identify who exactly built this incredible structure that is only 85 years old, then I'm taking that as they don't know. And at that point, the rest of their story is untrustworthy. There's no other way to go about it. If this was built today, we would know exactly who built the building. 50 years ago, same thing. 85 years, we should definitely know who constructed this chapel, no doubt. So let's take a step back for a second. Obviously, nobody is 100% sure of anything, but at this point we can definitely see a huge pattern of there being some sort of beginning to our timeline in the 1800s. It's getting very obvious. So where are we? What happened? Where did the previous civilization go? And why are they being hidden from us? If there was a previous civilization, then where are the skeletons? Should we begin to look at the catacombs in France? Hundreds of miles of skeletons? I don't think we need to go into that because it's obvious we're right. Was this a naturally caused cataclysm or done on purpose? Did these people do something they shouldn't have? It's obvious that we're not where we're told we are, and our history is not true. How many times have they used the Columbus story? Is this the 10th time the narrator has tried to trick us with a world civilization? Do they already know what kind of music we like because they've used these songs before? Same movies, same shows? These, in my opinion, are reused. Not all of them, but the big ones. Who knows how long ago Beethoven played the piano? Or if he was even real? Anyone ever notice they use the same plot for these TV shows? Airplane crashes into island, people are lost, and they twist it a little? It's like they're using the same script, even in our entertainment. These are the fundamental questions that should be held on to while we investigate further. Speaking of investigating further, let's continue. New York City, the Alwyn Court. These are now apartment buildings, but we know they're much deeper than that. Let's take a look together. This was built in 2 short years, from 1907 to 1909. Already sounding odd, but let's continue. The architect's name was Hard and Short. The building is 13 stories tall. Okay, so far so good, for the most part. At least no fires or anything that would give it away fully that it was an old world building. Oh no. Wait. Oh, yeah, here it is. Despite a fire shortly after its opening, the Alwyn Court quickly became one of New York City's most expensive apartment buildings. And there we have it, another story of a fire. They say that this building was finally built by somebody. We finally have a building that has a builder. The Hedden Construction Company. Should we investigate the Hedden Construction Company and see exactly how they learned these incredible skills? Hey, why not? Let's take a look. It started as a partnership between Mr. Viner Jones Hedden and Mr. J.J. Meeker. It was in this firm that after his formal schooling, Louis O. Hedden, second son of V.J. Hedden, learned the carpenter trade, as his father had done. Okay, so far nobody has taught these individuals the skill of building French Renaissance-style construction. Some schooling and boom! You and your jack-of-all-trades dad got the skills to handcraft French Renaissance buildings. And let's continue, of course. Okay, then Mr. Meeker dies in 1884. And they make a new company. Still the same people, of course. Same skills. And what do you know? Now, out of nowhere, they are building the world's tallest building. The Metropolitan Life Insurance Company Tower in New York City. Who's believing this? This is total nonsense. Hey, Pops, let's fix the fridge. Okay, now I'll be back. Just off to school in 1885. I'll be back with some knowledge to build the tallest building in the world. In French Renaissance-style buildings. What kind of insane story is this? Should we give it even 1% chance of being true? Where's the part where they say he worked with the world's most incredible sculptor to learn how to make the most unbelievable architectural designs come to life? Where is that part? Not even remotely close to being in the story. The Hedden Construction Company did not build this building. Nice try, though. Very nice try. I do appreciate that at least they tried to give us a builder this time. Now, I'd like to take you all to an island. I actually wish I could. That would be fun. But let's go look at this island on Google and wish we could all be there. And looking at this building when it was actually being built and be able to see how it was built. Here we are at the Palma Cathedral, located in Palma, Spain. Built in 2022. Could you imagine? The builder would be the most sought-after builder in the world. By far. It wouldn't even be close. Okay, so construction actually started in 1229. It wasn't finished up until nearly 4 centuries later. You know, companies have a tough time sticking around for 400 years nowadays. If someone wasn't getting the job done, for 400 years, do you think they'd be fired, run out of funds? Maybe, I don't know, die? Who seriously believes this took 400 years to build? I've said this in the past and I'll say it again because it is directly to the point. They did not take 400 years to build this. The builders knew what they were doing. They built it to perfection. They got the job done in their lifetime, and it was not 900 years ago. This was built by the previous civilization, and they were master builders. Now, knowing all of this, we are now going to get into the narrative and investigate. Who is the architect? Nobody? Which company built this? Unknown? Of course. But if you're not looking into this type of stuff, you're never going to ask that question. And since they lie, in my opinion, and say it was built 900 years ago, then it's too long ago to ask anyone today. Who would you ask? Nobody was alive 900 years ago, so they get away with it. They get away with the narrative that we don't know who built it or designed it, and they know that. Now, we haven't talked about the most insane part about this story. This was constructed 900 years ago on an island. Who was shipping the materials to this island in the Mediterranean Sea for 400 years? It's about 130 miles away from Barcelona. This is not a quick trip in the year 1229. So they have master builders and master shipping companies that work for 4 centuries. This is a great story. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I have a lot more on the way. We're just getting started, and I hope you all have a great day. I'm very thankful for you all. If you have anything you want me to cover in the future, just put it in the comments below, and I'll check it out. I love reading all the comments. We also have a Twitter account now up and running, and I'll put that in the link in the description. Also, we're on Rumble. That will be in the description too, just so you guys never lose track of where we are. Again, I hope you all have a great day, and I'll be back very soon. See ya.
Don't trust what you see. Don't listen to your senses. Trust what you are told.
Whoa. Could you imagine living in a world where 1,000 years have been manipulated and added to the timeline without your knowledge? So why add 1,000 years? How does that help or change anything? It changes everything. It allows 1,000 years of nonsense into the narrative. It allows cowboys and Indians. It allows doubt to creep in. It allows them to explain the St. Peter's Basilica. It allows the evolution theory to be possible to the individual that hasn't done any research of their own. It allows fake characters and fake stories. It allows Columbus to discover America, which we all know is not true. So why would any of it be true? An old world civilization was wiped out and their buildings remain. Thank you for joining me for episode 21 of my lunch break. I hope you're all having a great day, and if you're new, welcome. Today I want to get right into it. I want to discuss a building that they put right in our face, and for most, never realized it. Was this the magic trick all along? A magical movie based on wizards? A film that has been viewed by over 1.3 billion people, and nobody is asking any questions? The Hogwarts building from Harry Potter. Is it real? Of course it's real, and it has a name. Alnwick Castle. Did we all think that this building was just computer generated because it's just that incredible? When people visit this building, what are they thinking? For people unaware of what we're talking about here, what are they thinking when they see this building? Let's get into the history of this building, and let's see what they say about it. There's an ongoing debate as to the exact date of its construction. Even the architectural historians can't figure it out. They have figured none of the buildings out, but I'm glad they admit it here. Okay, so immediately, this story has possibly the biggest hole of all. If they don't know when it was built, how can they then prove who built it? Or why? Everything else is void. Case closed. I would normally spend more time on a story, but I couldn't wait to see this building and share it with you. I also want to do some boots on the ground work in the future at this Hogwarts castle. I think it would be incredible. But let's get into this next building because this gets crazy. Vintners Hall, located in London, England. And what is going on here? And if you've seen my last 20 episodes, you are going to enjoy this one. Going to continue to attack the point that these buildings are from the old world. And these stories are not true. They are all in on it together because this is clearly a worldwide oppression. Now let's prove it again. The Vintners Hall began in 1357, and the company has been on the same site ever since. It just began, and the building just appeared from thin air. Interesting. Great information. Thank you. Anyway, that's not the point. We know they didn't build this building. No construction workers, no architects, no tools, no blueprints. Just moved right in 1357 and got an old world building that will stand for the rest of time. Now here comes the best part. Their hall was destroyed by the Great Fire of 666. Oh, did I say 666? I meant 1666. Of course, another fire. At this point, I would like to remind everyone that this fire did not destroy the building. Fire does not melt stone. This story is untrue, down to its core. This building is from the old world and is still here today. Now here, they're going to try and throw us off. They will now give us a fake character named Christopher. Christopher? Christopher who? Christopher Columbus? They are telling us that this guy Christopher designed the building that stands before us today and got it constructed somehow in 1820. This took 3 short years to complete and was a simple task 200 years ago. This was something anybody could do. Have you seen all the architectural designs in the 1800s? They held contests because there were just so many people that were able to design these masterpieces. Today, not so much. We are taught that we evolve and advance. So why has architecture and construction declined and devolved so dramatically? Or is it that they had better teachers? No. Is it because we maybe didn't build these buildings? I would say yes. They go on to say Of course. There have been several halls rebuilt on the same site. Oh, of course. They build these structures so easily. Knocking them down and rebuilding them was simple. In the 1700s, we would just do it for fun. In our spare time, actually. Insanity. Vintners Hall. Unbelievable. Shall we stay in England? Let's do it. The Guildhall, located in London. Construction was completed in 1440. Supposedly. But I'm going to jump around here a little bit because this site is just really crazy. So in 1988, they discovered an amphitheater located underneath the Guildhall site. Since they've already messed up and said the Guildhall building is from hundreds of years ago, they now have to go back even further and explain the amphitheater. So remember, they can just say any date they want and most will accept it. They throw out the year 70 for this one. Exactly year 70? Who decided that? Can I object? Can you object? No. We have to just accept that. Why not the year 71 or 72? Remember, they didn't even know it was there in 1987. But now they're telling us that it was renovated in the 2nd century. This is just insane. Nobody was supposed to see that amphitheater. Now back to the Guildhall. 1440 and boom, this is here. We have a problem though. That 1666 fire is on the way. At least we know it's coming this time, so we can skip over that. Looks like they had a guy that knew how to repair something in 1866. Okay, good. So we made it through the whole story. No other crazy fires or anything. Finally. Oh no. This replacement was destroyed during the Second Great Fire of London on the night of 29/30, December 1940. You've got to be kidding me. Another fire? Why? They can't help themselves. Why waste your time building these incredible architectural structures in a time where people were riding on horses, when you don't have a proper firefighting unit on hand? They did not learn their lesson from 1666. Get a fire unit ready so you can save these palaces. They didn't know what they were doing when they found these buildings. I'm having fun in England today, so let's stay here and check out this care home. A care home? Why would we be checking out a care home? I'm not sure I've ever seen a care home with worse architecture. Kidding, of course. It's actually the complete opposite. I've never seen a care home that has pillars. Built in the year 1840. This is just your average care home in 1840. Built with ease and precision. Not a flaw in sight and standing the test of time, no problem. And it actually gets better looking with time, as do our buildings today. Oh, ours don't do that? So let's see what's going on here at this care home. So in 1834, Thomas Hopper was ready to get to work. He begins drawing up this incredible building. He has it on a sheet of paper, and somehow it becomes reality. Somehow. Where's the construction company? Doesn't matter to most people, but for our research, it's kind of the main point. Who built this? Who had the tools? The shipping company to bring the materials there? Anyone? So no construction companies listed. Maybe Hopper had some friends that helped him. So 6 years later, this 3-story mansion is supposedly built. Interesting, they knocked something down to build this. They say that the original house was built in 1661 and give no further information on that. I'm guessing that there was nothing there, and this is the building the whole time. Just trying to complicate things for us, but not going to work. Good try though. The main south front has 9 windows. Simple. 5 of these windows easily sit behind the 6 composite columns. And here we have it. Unbelievable. Look at this. The building was even more impressive than what we get to see today. The building was altered in 1857 to 1859 after another fire. I'm actually starting to get shocked at how many times they used the fire narrative. It's even on random care homes. What in the world? This is crazy. Hopper has to come back into the picture here, of course, to fix it. What a joke. How many more fire stories like this are out there? Just waiting for us to find them. I wish I had a running total of how many fire destroyed the building stories we have found so far. I might have to go through the first 19 episodes and count them up, so we have that. If anyone is bored and wants to go through the first 19 episodes and put that in the comments below, feel free. The May 2013 t-shirt was just released, and you can find that below. All proceeds will go to supporting the channel and future boots on the ground work. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the channel. I'm so thankful for every one of you. I really hope you all have a great day. We also have a Twitter account and a Rumble account that I'll put in the description if you guys are interested. The Twitter account is cool. I've been releasing the new t-shirts and promo codes on there before they officially come out. If you have anything to add to this episode or have anything fun to share for future episodes, just go ahead and put that in the comments below and I'll check that out. Thank you all for your support, and I'll be back very soon with much more. See ya.
Don't trust what you see. Don't listen to your senses. Trust what you are told.
What if all technology was already found out about? All cars, planes, trains, TVs, phones, and all that you know in your daily life. Everything. Nobody knows anything for sure, but what if? What if everything was learned? And the people were all wiped out, but the buildings were left over. The people were wiped out, and now the specific individuals that wiped out all of the people had all of the technology. They got to keep it, and we were gone, and they got all of the power. Once the individuals that wiped us out had all of the technology, they can then sell it back to the next civilization that never even knew it existed before. They can control everything. The narrative, the government, the banks, and many other things that are much deeper, but I want to keep it on point here today. I've been really excited to share this with all of you. I think this will end up being my favorite episode so far. Can you believe we're already on episode 20? Very happy to announce we have a company that supports what we're doing here in this community. That company is Manscaped. Every purchase that you guys make using my promo code for Manscaped will be going into an account that will only be used for future videos and boots on the ground work. I really appreciate all of you. They have incredible products, and I wanted to give you guys a promo code for something that I thought you'd actually like. They have a brand new item, the Lawnmower 4.0. The coolest part about it is it works in the water, doesn't cut you, and good for you or your significant other. So just enter in the promo code MLB20 and get 20% off and free international shipping. I'll put the link in the description below so you guys can check that out. I can't thank you all enough for the support. Let's begin. Information is funny, isn't it? Once you're able to unlock your mind and listen to what's being presented, the whole world has a new meaning. Some people can see what we're about to show. Some people can't. For some, it gives life a new meaning. Hopefully this episode helps everybody see a little bit clearer. Through the first 19 episodes, we have heard some insane stories about how these buildings have gotten here. Everywhere from no builders, to master builder prisoners, to exactly 2,000 random people that don't work for anyone. We've heard of architects that were furniture designers, and we could go on, and we will, until everyone is understanding that these buildings were from a previous civilization. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if today we read something in the narrative where they say an architect had a twin stepbrother. So let's start in Chicago, more specifically, the Tribune Tower, a 463-foot tall skyscraper. This only took 2 years to build, sure. And I have a pet dinosaur. So 1923, they had building down. This is 90 years ago. We will surely get the whole story since it wasn't that long ago. They will tell us the architect's name. Oh great, they show us 4 of them. And the construction company too. Oh, no, they don't show us that? Okay, of course. There is no construction company listed. Under design and construction. They'd only list the architects. Why not the construction company, where it says design and construction? Were these people drawing it on a piece of paper and running a construction company simultaneously? Or did they build this themselves? Just these 4 guys in only 2 years? Now let's get to the funny part that gives this story away. Built in 1923. But here's a weird glitch in the story. The original was built in 1868 and destroyed by the Chicago fire only 3 years later. Yeah, right. It wasn't destroyed. This is the building. It wasn't built in 1923. Or 1868, and we're all understanding this by now. These are obvious lies that would never hold up in court. Another story about fires destroying buildings, only 3 years after they're built, then constructing another one with ease in 24 short months with no mention of a builder. Nice try to the narrator, but this is an old world building. Any construction worker will tell you that this is not something that we would be able to construct today, especially in just 24 months. Shall we keep laughing at the same fake story? How do you think these 4 architects were chosen to design this building? Not another contest, right? Here it is, in 1922. The Chicago Tribune holds a contest to build their building. So pick these people out. Get the blueprints, the land permits, and construction company, the materials, and all of it built by 1925. Yeah, right. This might be the best story I've ever read. It's hilarious. The people that were in charge of spreading the newspapers are getting this old world building. No contest was held, and I guarantee it. Another contest. Incredible. Just like nearly all of the U.S. Capitol buildings. So can we get this straight? I thought the Tribune had a contest for this building in 1922. 1868, they had a building and it was destroyed by fire. Side note that fires don't knock stone buildings down, but let's continue. So 1871 to 1925, where was the Chicago Tribune located in those years? Any word on that? No, of course not. Nothing. Who built the original 1868 building, if there ever was one? Any architects? None. Nothing. Was the whole thing destroyed? No, of course not. This is the building. Time to travel back in time to 1893, Liverpool, England. Surely all the competitions will be done for today. Wait, right? A competition was announced on March 5th, 1839 via an advertisement in the Times to design the St. George's Hall. You've got to be kidding me. Who wins this time? And why is every single winner the most incredible architect of all time? Why don't we ever get a building that looks like our current town halls? They are all so detailed and precise. In the 1800s, of course, it was just simple. So simple that they just built like this all the time. And then TV was introduced, and building things just wasn't cool anymore. Not what the kids were into. Yeah, right. You don't go from having building down to not knowing how to build anymore. And this community understands that this current civilization that we are living with did not construct these buildings. Now, this story is literally unbelievable. It's insane. The winner of this competition is named Harvey Elms. This insane character was only 25 years old and was drawing this up. 25 years old, give me a break. I'm sure he went on to have a long, successful career with lots of other incredible designs. Let's see. Won the competition in 1839. Okay. 25 years old. Won another competition at the exact same time? Sure, yeah, right. Let's continue. Okay, and 1847, 33 years old now. Building is almost done being built, and okay, he's dead. Dead. Really. So the master designer is just gone. Do we need to go into the number 33, or can we just move on? Does this age of 33 attempt to throw it all right in our faces, or what? If you want to know what I mean about 33 and are unaware, I'm sure somebody in the comments below can kindly help you out. Well, the cost of construction wouldn't be any more 33 numbers, would it? Of course not. Oh, you've got to be messing with me now. Equivalent to 33 million is the cost of construction. Yeah. Okay, well, okay then. St. George's Hall in Liverpool, England. What a weird place. I'm not going to say all this. You can read for yourself. But this is the type of stuff that is on the building. Just disturbingly weird. Time to go to the next place. I want to get back to some positive vibes, so let's go to the Cook County Jail. Well, that's not what I had in mind. Let's go somewhere a little less violent. Let's go to Texas, the Dallam County Courthouse. This is incredible architecture, especially for 1923. How long did it take them to build this? No idea? Doesn't say. Wait, this was funded by a bond in 1922 and completed in 1923? So within a year of getting the money, this thing is done and built in 1923? And that's all we get to know about it? No construction company or anything. 100 years ago, just throwing up classical, revival-style buildings with ease in Texas. Now what is going on over here at the Dickens County Courthouse in Texas? Built in 1892, of course. They give us a ton of information on this thing. Oh, no, they don't. They literally tell us nothing. How could this be acceptable? No narrative at all about the construction of this building. Just nothing. And we should just accept that? No, not anymore. This isn't a random building either. It was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1980, so it's worthy of a background. But they do let us know that something happened to it right here. It formerly had a polygonal center tower with a domed roof. What happened to it? Who destroyed it? Was it burnt down by a fire? And why is there no information about this incredible courthouse? They say it was also built in just a year, or less, by a guy named E.L. Aiken, but you can't click on him, and no proof that he's even real, as well as a Southern Structural Steel Company. Who are they? When you look for this company anywhere on the internet, there's nothing. There was never a company named Southern Structural Steel Company, or that random Aiken fake character. This is complete nonsense. If we go to the actual website, they tell us about Dickens, and a ridiculous quote that he supposedly said. Nothing about actual construction of the building. If anyone is on the fence at this point about whether or not we actually constructed these buildings, and these stories are lies, I think now is the time to get off the fence and join us in investigating and laughing at these insane narratives. Good old Dickens County Courthouse. Probably never thought we would have found you, but we did. Of course we did. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the channel. I'm so thankful for every one of you. I really hope you all have a great day. We have a Twitter account and a Rumble account that I'll put in the description below if you guys are interested. If you have anything else to add to this episode or have something to share for future episodes, just go right ahead and put it in the comments below and I'll check it out. Thank you for all of your support. I'll be back very soon with much more. See ya.
Don't trust what you see. Don't listen to your senses. Trust what you are told.
Whoa. Thank you for joining me for episode 22 of My Lunch Break. I hope you're all having a great day. And if you're new, welcome. Okay, let's just start episode 22 off with a bang. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the Oddfellows Temple. The Oddfellows decided to build their hall 1 block north of the Masonic Temple. Interesting choice. December 12th, 1892. They began construction, so they say. 3 short years later, this building was completed. The first 3 stories, outer walls, were made of marble. And remember, this is simple construction in the 1800s. Marble just came standard with the outer walls of buildings. It was your modern day, how do you say, plastic siding. It held an auditorium seating 2,000 people, while at the same time having over 100 offices, among other things. Now for the fun part. Who drew this place up? The architects were Edward Hazelhurst and Samuel Huckle. Now here's a funny addition to the story. If you've seen my first 21 episodes, you'll know exactly why this is funny. This building was fireproof. A fireproof building in 1892. Why were they not all fireproof buildings? All over the place, considering every single one of their buildings pretty much eventually burned to the ground, out of nowhere. In 1973, it was listed to the National Register of Historic Places, which is great. They won't be able to knock it down, and then we'll be able to see it forever. Wait, what is this? 5 years later, it was taken off the list and knocked down. What? What happened? No information on Wikipedia. Apparently, they destroyed its existence on there as well. So we're gonna have to dig deeper, and that's fine. The building was destroyed for possibly the dumbest reason of all time, which makes me think that they wanted it gone and out of our sight. The reason was to expand a convention center. They say that this building had a curved marble lobby staircase. We get the architects' names, but never do we get the construction team that actually got their hands dirty and made the blueprints come to life. We don't get this. Because Hazelhurst and Huckle, in my opinion, were not the designers of this building. They also did not build the building. They did not own a construction company, and they have no mention of hiring one either. This is a key point in our investigation. Who built the building? Are we the only ones asking these questions? If you think we are, think again. Here we are in the comments section of this same article. The very first comment, written by an anonymous, asks, the real question is, why can't today's architects design buildings that effortlessly fit the streetscape as was generally the case in the early 20th century? So we are not alone. We don't build like that because we didn't build that building, in my opinion, of course. Now, I was on Google Earth just looking at this road, and we're not going anywhere. We're going right over to the Philadelphia Masonic Temple. What is going on here? This is unbelievable. If this was constructed today, we would be stunned. I know we're all in agreement on that one. If this building was built in the 1900s, we would be a little confused. This building was constructed in only 5 years, in 1868 to 1873. Am I missing something? Take a look at this building. Who is building this building? I'm so interested to hear this story and hear what they have to say about it. Please tell me there's a 30-year-old that won a competition. Okay, here we go. The temple was designed in the medieval Norman style by James H. Windrum, who was 27 years old at the time he won the design competition. Are you serious? This is just amazing. We know after 21 episodes that the story is the same as so many other stories all around the world. It is so repetitive and in our faces. And we have just started this research and only 22 episodes in. Can you imagine when we get to 200 episodes, how many times we're going to hear that a 27-year-old architect won a competition and is just the most incredible architecture of all time. Nothing against 27-year-olds, but most 27-year-old builders in today's time are just getting into the job and hardly understand the basic concepts of architecture. Not building like this. This would never hold up in court, ever. I went back and looked for any articles on this James H. Windrum guy, and I found exactly what we needed. On June 25th, 1868, the chairman of the building committee took James by the hand and presented him to the Grand Master. Remember, this is what they wrote back in 1868, not recently. This is the actual article. He placed the plans and tools in the hands of James H. Windrum and just trusted this guy to build it. So James was the builder and the architect. He was 27 years old, you guys. This is absolutely insane. So not only was he the greatest architect of all time, but he was also the most incredible builder. I feel like I need to take a minute and catch my breath. What have we just found? I mean, who is still on the fence at this point? Are we having fun or what? 27-year-old master builder / drawer. He built this in 5 years too. So we can't forget that. Just insane. Unbelievable. So the newspaper goes on to say, the Grand Marshal made this big scene and said, silence, silence. It sounds like they're trying to put on a big show, in my opinion. I do not believe that this actually took place and simply published into this paper. I have the opinion that this building was there much longer before 1868. And this was the story's beginning. One more thing to say about this 27-year-old master builder architect, James Windrum guy. Not only was he constructing this building and drawing it up in 1868 at the age of 27, like we have mentioned, he was also building another building at the exact same time. He supposedly had multiple projects, as he was also the architect and builder of the Academy of Natural Sciences. This is what you call a multitasker. Amazing. Let's turn our heads to the right, just a little bit, and look at the City Hall that is located 30 yards away. Give or take a few yards. And what do we have here? A picture of the City Hall. And you can see how close these two buildings are with the Masonic Temple in the shot. So they had multiple architects that knew how to draw the most amazing buildings in the world and put them on the same block. Anyone from your local grocery store could come on down and draw one of those places up in no time, and then construct them with ease in 5 years or so. All right, it's 1894, and let me show you around the tallest building in the world. John MacArthur Jr. and Thomas Walter did not disappoint. They were the architects for the Second Empire Architectural Style Palace, so the legend goes. Now let's take a look at this section again, where it says architects and construction. And after reading that 1868 news article, I think we are truly meant to believe that these two individuals were not only the architects, but they're also the builders, which is a complete joke. It's a joke because they never mention any process of how it is actually constructed. They don't mention how many people were working for them. They don't mention anything about who shipped the materials there or anything. And that 1868 article proves this. Simply tell them to do it, and it is here before us for centuries. Unlike anything we build today. Here they show us, in my opinion, a fake picture of it being constructed. The whole old world part of it is already done. This is not construction. This is completion. To finish this off, I have searched for hours. I cannot find a single document, news article, from 1860 to 1875 stating that John MacArthur Jr. and Thomas Walter were constructing or even in charge of designing this building. This is 100% my opinion based on my research. But in my opinion, these characters had zero involvement in constructing this building. I was able to find a document stating that John MacArthur was in Chicago in 1872. So basically right after the Philadelphia City Hall construction began, MacArthur wasn't even in Philadelphia. How can MacArthur be in charge of constructing the most incredible building in Philadelphia? Yet this article clearly shows that in 1872, MacArthur had been located in Chicago. If you are on the fence, if this is the same character, let's make this very clear. John MacArthur Jr. was born in Bladennock, Scotland. Here in the article, word for word, it states John MacArthur is a gallant and accomplished Scotchman. This is John MacArthur Jr., and he was not in Philadelphia constructing the City Hall. He was in Chicago. My closing statement here, and of course, this is my opinion, but based on facts, is that the Philadelphia City Hall is an old world building, and the story about MacArthur and his pal is a lie. Oh wait, there's more? The Philadelphia City Hall's construction began in 1871. Would they need the people that drew up the plans and are in charge of the construction to be there? Would John MacArthur actually need to be there in 1871? Let's go with, yes. Let's go with, duh. Where could John MacArthur be in September of 1871? Try Austin, Texas. Does anyone at this point still think John MacArthur was the architect of the Philadelphia City Hall? Do you think he was there to construct it? We have proof that he was not at the scene of construction. He wasn't even in Philadelphia. He was off building 2 little stores in Austin, Texas. So in 1872, he's in Chicago, but in 1871, that year the construction began on the City Hall, John MacArthur was in Texas. He was not in Philadelphia building the City Hall. He was everywhere but Philadelphia. Don't forget that we have a bunch of brand new t-shirts that just came out, and you can find them right below this video. Our Twitter account is up and running, and I'll put that in the link, as well as our Rumble account. Both links will be in the description. If you have anything else to add, any thoughts on this video, or any ideas for future videos, please put that in the comments below. Thank you all very, very much for your support, and I hope you all have a great day. I will be back very soon with much more. See ya.
Don't trust what you see. Don't listen to your senses. Trust what you are told.
Whoa. Thank you for joining me for episode 23 of my lunch break. I hope you're all having a great day, and if you're new, welcome. we begin today's main topic, I would like to say that it is very important to understand the fire destroying the old world building narrative is not gone. It happened thousands of times in our past, and it was a great way to get rid of the previous civilization's incredible work. In the first 22 episodes, we have gone over the fire stories. We will find more, of course, but I want to show you that the fires are not stopping yet. Fires aren't just burning any random building down. We all understand this. So here we go to Hong Kong, the Manila Central Post Office. I would like to say thank you to Twisted Sunshine for sending me this on Twitter. Last Sunday night, a horrible fire broke out in the Manila Central Post Office. This building was declared a National Heritage Zone. No other type of structure is allowed to be built on this site, other than the historical post office. So what's the only way to get rid of these buildings? A world war? Well, no, they tried that already in 1946. So they had to light this one on fire in the middle of the night. And how was the fire started? Well, we don't know that, of course. Just a reminder that we are still in the middle of this narrative destruction. Enjoy every second that we have at these old world buildings. Now that we've covered the current event, let's get into today's topic. The Coral Gables City Hall, located in Coral Gables, Florida. Supposedly built in 1928. So we should have all the information on this place that we need to prove that it is not from the old world. We are given the architects' names: Phineas Paste and Harold Stewart. Of course, no construction company, but we'll ignore that for now to prove a point. Now, since this was within the last 100 years, and they were supposedly capable of building a place with this much perfection, there should surely be some sort of documentation backing this up. Right? Let's take a closer look. Let's do a simple search for all newspapers from the year 1770 to 1963 and see what kind of incredible stories they had about this brand new city hall being built. Let's type in the architects' names and the word City Hall. That's all we need for these stories to come up. And search. Oh, not one documented article? That's really weird. Let's try Harold Stewart and see what happens. Nothing again? Okay. So they don't have one article in any newspaper that states that these two were going to build one of the most incredible city halls in the world. What would happen if we simply try to search for the city hall at all? Surely they wrote some sort of article saying anything about its construction. Okay. 10 total articles about the City Hall. The first of which was in 1925. And let's see what it says. It states, today, when Miami has a population of 100,000, Coral Gables lies only 3 miles from City Hall. One mention of the City Hall, but is it talking about the City Hall like it's already there? I thought this was completed in 1928. In 1925, they're talking about this place saying it's only 3 miles away. And this was the first mention of it? All right, let's see what else there is to help clear this up. The next documented article didn't come around for 14 years later until 1939. This is way after the construction date of 1928. Did they seriously not write a single article of its construction? Was this because it was already here? And it wasn't a big deal to them? What does this 1939 article say? Bandits raid City Hall? They took $500 from the Coral Gables City Hall. And that was more important than documenting its construction? They're able to write articles about events that happened in the City Hall. But that's it? Where's the construction story? Where are these articles? This building isn't from 500 years ago. Where were the documented plans and the blueprints? The notice to the town that this was going to be constructed. Hey everyone, we're going to use your tax money to build this incredible structure. Nothing? This is not normal to not have one single article about this city hall. So let's see what we can find on this incredible architect, Phineas Paste. Wikipedia literally tells us nothing. So let's search in the archives again for this guy. There should be hundreds of articles that come up, considering he was the master builder behind one of the most incredible buildings in the entire USA. One article? Really? What does it say? Phineas Paste was the superintendent at the Market Company in Philadelphia? Wow. Should we pause here for a minute and think about what we have just discovered? I believe that we have just proven, without a doubt, that this building is from the old world and not built by our current civilization. At the very minimum, I believe that we have disproven the story, that these two individuals built these buildings. The story is not true. There's no evidence of the construction. There's no evidence of these individuals present at the site of construction. There isn't even evidence that they were architects. I mean, can we do a search for Harold Stewart, the other supposed architect? Let's see the entire state of Florida between 1926 and 1929, the said years of construction and completion. Nothing. 0 articles of him ever being there. What is this article from 1926 in the Daily Alaska Empire? Here he is. What does this say? Okay, well there we have it. Which group is he affiliated with? Are we all able to read the title of this article? Masons. Interesting, to say the least. You are free to think whatever you like. All of this is my independent research, and it's just an opinion at the end of the day. But my opinion is based on facts. My opinion is that we have found out the true identity of both of these supposed architects. They were never present in Florida. They were in Alaska and Philadelphia. So what is the truth about this building? And it's not just any building. It was added to the U.S. National Register of Historic Places. Was it found and repurposed? I believe so. Let's go to Ohio, and I want to see what they are saying about the Elsinore Arch. Why was this 80-foot castle structure built in 1883? Which construction company was throwing these up in the 1800s? I looked up the architect, Charles Hannaford, in the U.S. newspaper directory. I searched Ohio and all the years between 1881 and 1991, just to see if there was anything about the construction of this place. No mention of a Charles Hannaford in the archives in Ohio. Wikipedia has nothing on this guy, so I dug deeper and found this write-up by Pabbook stating that Charles Edward Hannaford was born in 1860. Born in 1860, the Elsinore Arch was completed in 1883. So this guy was like 23 years old when it was completed. Here in the Pabbook write-up, it states that Charles Hannaford worked for Samuel Hannaford and Sons, and they were the ones that had to have built this Elsinore Arch. The Elsinore Arch is incredible. It is built with precision. This surely would have been documented in the 1800s, in a time where they documented architectural designs about a simple schoolhouse. The first mention of this Samuel Hannaford and Sons company didn't come until 1896, when they submitted designs to build this schoolhouse in Hillsboro, Ohio. So they did exist, but not until 1896. Remember, our completion of construction date for the Elsinore Arch was in 1883, 13 years prior to any mention of these guys. Also, 1896 would make way more sense for their first project. Charles Hannaford would be 36 at the start of the school design, not completion of the project, which is a lot more understandable than 23 years old at the completion and being the main architect and builder of the Elsinore Arch. When you look at the distance between the Elsinore Arch and the site of their first documented project, it's not close at all. It's over an hour drive in 2023. How long of a drive was that in 1883? And how are they transporting all the materials, tools, and workers? I'm convinced at this point, with zero documentation stating that they built the Elsinore Arch, and also the fact that the logistics are not practical or believable at all, in my opinion. The Elsinore Arch is from the old world. No 23-year-old constructed this place, and I believe that we have proved this. And what is this? The company was in charge of building something else in 1899? Let's see what else this sketchy master builder was up to in the 1800s. Oh, the Washington County Courthouse, of course. This article is the beginning of the narrative for this courthouse. Remember, they use the same characters to explain multiple old world buildings. And here in 1899, another story begins. And wait until you see the inside of the old world building and what designs they have put on the floor. Can you see what design is there? This building is 100% from the old world. This was a worldwide symbol, way before our civilization. These are symbols that have been used over and over again by many civilizations. This building was supposedly built in 1902. This symbol was used in Germany 18 years later, proving that this was a symbol that has been used many times before. And for other reasons, not just for that one specific group. This was built many years before 1902. Because in my opinion, this was not a courthouse. This was found and repurposed. And I can show you more proof by showing that there are no articles, like we just saw from Washington County, over in Monroe County. Supposedly, these same master builders built their courthouse too. But why don't we get a news article on that one? Too much effort to make an article on this place. And I'm going to end this video with an absolute bang. Undeniable proof, in my opinion, that this building and all the other buildings that Samuel Hannaford and Sons Company supposedly built is from the old world. Are you ready? If you have watched my first 22 episodes, you are going to fully understand and be really excited to hear this next point. It will give it all away and show that these buildings are not our work. A previous civilization that was incredible, had incredible architects, and had a different level of building was here in Ohio, as well as the rest of the world. And here it is. It is the fourth courthouse building on this site, with two previous ones destroyed in fires. 2 fires, really. Another fire giveaway for us here in this community. Incredible. After recording over 60 fire burn the old world buildings down stories on this channel, it is clear, in my opinion, that this building was here much longer than we're told. Knocking stone buildings down with fire twice in the same story is impressive, considering stone doesn't melt from fire. Incredible stuff. I feel like everyone in the world should know about this information. It's unbelievable and right in our faces. Don't forget that there's a bunch of brand new t-shirts and hoodies that just came out. You can find that right below this video. Every purchase helps support the channel, as well as likes and comments, and when you subscribe. I couldn't be more thankful for all of you. I couldn't be more thankful for the support that you guys give. And our Twitter account is up and running, and we are over on Rumble as well. Both of those links will be in the description below. If you have anything to add or any thoughts on this video, or have ideas for future videos, just put that in the comments below. Thank you again for all your support, and I hope you all have a great day. I will be back very soon with much more. See ya.
Don't trust what you see. Don't listen to your senses. Trust what you are told.
Whoa. I was doing some research and took a look at Russia and where Russia is on the map. Then I saw a 1771 map showing the land that we know as Tartaria, or Tartary. Well, then I saw that Tartaria's flag had a dragon on it, and I thought that was interesting. And then I went to check Russia's flag, and theirs had a horse. Wait, the horse is standing on? What is that? Don't tell me that is a dragon. Thank you for joining me for episode 24 of my lunch break. I hope you're all having a great day, and if you're new, welcome. Let's start off with the Cincinnati Music Hall. And who built this thing in 1878? Samuel Hannaford and Sons? Have we heard of this crazy group before? Yeah, we have. In our very last episode, actually. Episode 23. So we already know there's something weird going on with this building and the Samuel group. And we don't have to get too far into that in this episode, but let's do a quick recap on these guys for anyone that missed the last episode. They are led by a 23-year-old master builder that designs and builds the most incredible architecture in the whole world in the 1800s in Ohio. And he is never mentioned in any news articles until years after the buildings are completed, which is totally normal and acceptable. Oh, it isn't? No, it isn't. Samuel Hannaford and Sons Construction Company did not have any known records until 1896, when a newspaper finally mentioned them. But they were supposedly off building tons of buildings before then. Okay, we're all caught up, and let's attack this narrative even further. The Music Hall in Cincinnati, Ohio. The construction of the Cincinnati Music Hall took approximately 2 years. The building process began in 1876 and was completed in 1878. Simple construction in the 1800s, of course. Oh, right, I forgot. Massive construction projects were just thrown together in 24 months in the 1800s. What are we reading here? 24 months? In a time where horse-drawn carriages, wagons, and carts were commonly used for local transportation, both for personal travel and the transport of goods. Who believes this type of civilization was capable of constructing something like this in a time frame that we would struggle with today? I think they would have built this faster than our current civilization if this story is true. Could you imagine? All right, honey, I'm leaving for work in my horse and wagon. I'll be back at 5. I'm off to build this 158-foot-high music hall that includes an iconic bell tower and spire. Me and a couple sons will get this thing done, no problem, in under 24 months. Hope there isn't any traffic on my way there. What a joke. The Cincinnati Music Hall has a total seating capacity of around 3,516. Are you on the fence? If it's still an old world building? Should I continue and help you over the fence? The music hall was completed in 1878, supposedly. What do you think happened 2 years later? Take a guess. The fire resulted in significant damage to the interior of the building, including the destruction of the original auditorium. However, the exterior structure largely survived, and the music hall was subsequently restored and rebuilt. Okay, so we have another fire burned down the building story. And remember, this is always the clear giveaway. The fire story is so repetitive, but it is key to our research. It gives the whole thing away, and this building is from the old world. Time and time again, they supposedly construct these incredible buildings. And in a few short months later, the building is said to have had so much fire damage that it needed a complete renovation. Over and over they say this, all over the world. And of course, there was not a fire. There was not a huge master renovation. This is the building right here. This is the original building. So built in 1878, supposedly. Fire in the music hall in 1880, supposedly. And the rest of the old world town got burnt down 4 years later. The Burn District fire destroyed pretty much the entire downtown area. Just unbelievable. So not only did the city hall burn down, but the entire downtown area also in 4 years? After all these strange occurrences with the Samuel Hannaford's and Sons Company, I couldn't be more certain that they were a front for these buildings. It is right in our faces. All of the key giveaways are there that show these buildings are built by a previous civilization. And they should be taken care of and looked at with open eyes the next time you see one. They are incredible structures that stand the test of time, unlike anything that we would build today. They were not built in the 1800s, in my opinion. They were built by a much more advanced civilization. Should we note another fire? A much more recent fire? The fire at the Cathedral of Notre Dame in Paris on April 15th, 2019. It is believed to have started accidentally. The initial investigation indicated that the fire originated in the attic space of the cathedral. It was speculated that the fire was sparked by an electrical short circuit that occurred within the ancient wooden framework of the roof. Whoops. Accidentally burned down another old world incredible structure. It's just sad, to be honest. Whoever was in charge of burning our buildings down in the 1800s seems to still enjoy lighting them up. Should we enter Australia? Let's do it. The Royal Exhibition Building. The construction of this building supposedly started in 1879. I wonder how long this took to build. Any guesses? I wish we could have a live chat going to see what you would all say. Well, the right answer is 1 year. Construction started in 1879 and finished right up in only 1 year, which is totally logical, and we all believe that. Oh, we don't? And a fire, of course, because we have to make sure that that goes into the narrative. Can I ask, is this like a rule that they have to put a fire narrative into the story? There's no way that every single one of these buildings that are built in a year have some sort of fire. Not every single house on the block has a fire that burns down the whole thing. The chances that they all start on fire are none. There is no chance. At the time of its completion in 1880, this was one of the largest buildings in the world, and built in just 1 year. Oh, and remember, just to drive this home, this was for the Melbourne International Exhibition. So not only did they throw this thing up in 1 year, they also built many other buildings at the exact same time. So simple in 1879. Some still stand today. The Victorian Supreme Court, the Carlton Gardens, the Melbourne Museum. I hope this helped clear things up for everyone. This type of construction is not an easy task today, let alone in 1879. There are so many questions that still be answered, but this is just getting so obvious that nobody in the 1800s built these buildings, and especially in only 1 year. It isn't logical thinking to really believe that. One construction company can throw up all of these buildings in 1 year? Or which construction company? Or which construction companies? Who believes this? Believing that narrative, after seeing the countless fire stories from Ohio to Chicago to Australia, and over to Europe, and everywhere else in the world, believing that narrative is just indoctrination to the core. We all are allowed to think for ourselves. Just imagine this being built by a community that had horses and wagons as their main source of transportation. In just 1 year. It isn't logical thinking. In my opinion, we are being lied to, and it's time to realize it. And we have a bonus today. We are going to go to India for the bonus. I wanted to show you all the Karla Caves. These are rock-cut caves. These date back 2,000 years to the year 160 BCE. So they say. Now, who actually believes this? If you do believe this, then you are admitting that we cannot build the way people used to build. Just because it's ancient does not mean you can just brush it off. It doesn't just get a pass. Oh, that cave is ancient and too old, so we don't need to think about it. On this channel, I am suggesting that our timeline for this batch of humans that are currently here began around 300 years ago. These caves could have been built at any point before 300 years ago. And no, not by aliens. This was built by humans, a previous civilization that had technology that surpasses ours by miles. If they could build like this, and it's still here, then what else did they have? What other technology did they have with them every day? The buildings and architecture are proof that there were civilizations before us that were superior. The knowledge is gone. When I say we don't build like this anymore, We don't. Our civilization never did. Previous civilizations did. We are realizing this now. You have to ask yourself, why could they build like this 2,000 years ago? And we have never built like this in our entire lifetimes. And we most likely never will. This knowledge will be held away from us. Our buildings crumble with time. The ancient buildings don't go anywhere. They're here to be discovered by the next civilization. Why do you think our buildings are not built with stone? Would the narrator want to have to redo all of the stories to add us in for the next batch of people? These are just honest points. Points that people need to hear to see what is going on around them. There were 100% previous civilizations in my opinion. The buildings prove this. And I'm just gonna share something else because I have so many tabs open. And I need to share this stuff with everyone. And I've been meaning to speak on this for a while. The Grand Library of Alexandria in Alexandria, Egypt was one of the largest and most significant libraries in the ancient world. Most of us have heard about it by now. It was burned to the ground. All of the books, said to have had 400,000 scrolls, equivalent to around 100,000 books. So a lot of information, burned to the ground in the year of 48 BCE. Now, is this story real? Who knows? It was like 2,000 years ago, supposedly. And we know how they make up stories by now. But even if this story isn't real, there is a point that we have to understand. I'm sure 100,000 books have been burned that had knowledge that would be incredible for us today. Who's to say just one library was burned? Think about the amount of information that we as a civilization are not allowed to know about now. With this being said, I'm going to close this episode off with this. Our current civilization honestly doesn't buy any books anymore. Do any of us read books regularly? Or do we read information that is on a digital screen? Do we listen to presentations like this episode today for our information? What would happen if the digital database of information was gone tomorrow? We save videos that we like. We save links on our phone and computers. What would happen if that all went away? My point is this. What's to say this hasn't happened before? Hundreds of times. Our history that we have been taught is clearly not true. It mocks us at every turn. Fake characters and a bunch of nonsense. In my opinion, we are living in a time where whoever wants to is able to slowly awaken from the nonsense. At this point in time, you're able to see through the veil, but only if you choose to. Don't forget, there's a bunch of brand new t-shirts and hoodies that just came out. You can find that right below the video. Every purchase really helps support the channel, as well as when you like the video, comment, and when you subscribe to the channel. I couldn't be more thankful for all of you and all of your support that you guys are giving. Our Twitter account is up and running, and we are over on Rumble as well. Both of those links will be in the description below. If you have anything else to add, or any thoughts on the video, or have any ideas for future videos, just put that in the comments below. Thank you all for your support, and I hope you all have a great day. I will be back very soon with much more. See ya.
Don't trust what you see. Don't listen to your senses. Trust what you are told.
Whoa. I was looking at this article from 1918 from Washington, D.C., and found it really odd that in the bottom left-hand corner, they were mentioning a group of Russian fighters that are said to be the last set of Russian Tartar warriors. Russian Tartar warriors? What? The last set? Did they capture Tartaria within the last 300 years and take their warriors? I believe so. In episode 24, we talked about Tartaria's flag showing a dragon, and then showing Russia's flag, and it showed the horse trampling the dragon. And was this a dragon, or was this a griffin? We'll begin to talk about griffins in future episodes. I really think we're beginning to see that present-day Russia did take over this Tartarian empire, and it was not thousands of years ago. It might have been the key that started this brand new timeline that our current civilization is living within. Thank you for joining me for episode 25 of my lunch break. I hope you're all having a great day, and if you're new, welcome. And I want to give a shout out to our sponsor over on Patreon, Victor Perez. For only $19.99 a month, you can also be a sponsor on this channel and get a shout out for the next 4 weeks as well. That link will be right in the description below. Thank you for your support. The Milan Cathedral looks like something we build today, doesn't it? I think my town built a few of these last year. Could you imagine? Construction began on the Milan Cathedral in 1386, of course, only 637 years ago. And we have to remember how advanced the people of 1386 were. They drove around in electric cars, had wireless internet, they could video call each other from thousands of miles away, and could press a button and get their groceries delivered to their house. Oh wait, no, that's us. What did they have? Flying cars? What? They rode around on donkeys and didn't have bathrooms in their house? How is it possible that they built the Milan Cathedral then? And we can't today. Do you all get the point? Which construction company worked for 600 years? The narrative is ridiculous. The way they explain people from 600 years ago is insane. They were obviously more technologically advanced than us at the time that this cathedral was built. Remember, I always say that this is my opinion, and you can believe whatever you would like to believe. This is all based on my research, and I'm just sharing what I found in my own way. But no, we did not build this cathedral. If we did, we, meaning this current civilization that we are living with today, then why did we stop building with this type of perfection all over the world, not just in Italy? This is a worldwide agenda that is keeping back knowledge that we previously had, and we're clearly capable of doing. There is some sort of suppression going on, and when we see this cathedral, it makes this very easy to understand. It's right in our faces. You can see it. You don't need to convince anyone that this is incredible and way out of our league. 135 spires, 354 feet in the air. Here, they show a fake picture drawing of this cathedral in 1745. So for 359 years, they basically didn't get anything done. In this depiction, they have no spires, no incredible architecture, no stonework. It even shows some wood planks at the top, pretending like that was how they built. So now an updated photo in 1838, only 93 years later. What do you know? The whole thing is done and completed. Because the 1800s people just knew what they were doing, of course. This couldn't be more of a joke, in my opinion. This did not take 600 years to build. It didn't take generations upon generations of people to build. Whoever built this had the knowledge and built it within their lifetime. This is the same insane type of narrative that they tried to get away with. For the construction of the Cologne Cathedral in Germany, here they try to give us a list of all the masterminds behind this project. 78 people. Over 600 years. The first 63 people were basically useless, since nothing was accomplished until 1800, according to the narrative. My point here, and of course my opinion, is that these people are all a bunch of fake names. Fake characters, or had no involvement in the construction of this building, especially any character that is given to us that is said to be before the year 1800. Because right around this time period is where our timeline begins, in my opinion. And everything before that is null and void. And my first 24 episodes show hours of factual evidence of this. Now, it's possible it is around 1750, or if we're giving them the benefit of the doubt, possibly 1700. But if anyone can go back and look at your family tree, why does it stop at a certain point? Why can we not trace it back to 1600, 1500, 1400? None of us. How did our families get here? Where did we come from? Something happened is all I'm trying to say. Right around 300 years ago. Now, let's get back on track. What is going on with the front door of this Milan Cathedral? It looks like it's showing us an event, especially the top part that is covered by a net. It looks like there's something going on with the two individuals right in the center at the top. Like a very important meeting between two very important people, with angels and all these different type of people on the ground, and other types of beings in the air that were able to fly, which is very interesting, whether it was a true event or not. But if they were the ones that constructed this place, then why wouldn't they put something important on their front door? I would love to go there and see this up close. Now let's go inside these giant storytelling doors and see what's inside. We are given marble flooring, marble columns. The ceiling is clearly a pattern that is meaningful to a knowledgeable society. They pretend like they are still constructing this today. They aren't constructing it today. This thing is done. It's been done, and we are building another one. So we used to build with stone and marble in the 1800s, supposedly. So we must have been using plastic siding for centuries before that, right? Since we are, of course, a civilization of advancement and evolving. So what is this in 1950? We begin to build worse than before? Fine, it's cost effective. But why lose all ability all over the world to ever construct a building ever again? The way they were built in the past with marble and stone. Not one. You would think it would be even 95% plastic siding, 5% stone and marble, or even 99% siding and 1% stone and marble. But the fact that there's not one single structure in the world being built like the old world is telling, to say the least. It does remind me of when Don Pettit said that the telemetry data has been deleted, and it's a painful process to get it back.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
Except with buildings. We know that it was possible. There's physical proof. It's right here in front of all of us, all over the world. Why are we no longer able to construct like this? Any architect or construction worker will agree. The technology is missing. It's hidden from us at the very least, and we would like it back now. And we have a bonus today. We have some more breaking news of buildings being burned to the ground today. A historic Massachusetts church that dates back to 1743. It became engulfed in flames this past Friday. The first congregational church in Spencer, Massachusetts, about 50 miles outside of Boston. This church was set ablaze after suspected of being hit by lightning, because we all know that lightning strikes every house on the block. Oh, no, that's not true. Lightning only strikes structures that are from the old world and burns them right to the ground. That's what it was. Now I remember. It's unbelievable how many old world buildings are just being destroyed even today. All over the world. Flames burst out the sides of the ancient church's steeple and quickly spread to the ground floor. Before the raging fire ultimately overcame it, the church was empty, of course, when the fire broke out. Nobody was around to see who started the fire. When the lightning struck, the pastor of the Protestant church, whose congregation is around 30 people, revealed that it's too early to know if the church can be rebuilt. What is this? An admission that they cannot rebuild the church? In 2023? I thought we were the most technologically advanced civilization of all time. Evolution, I thought. So people in the 1700s put this thing up with horse and wagon. But in 2023, we're unsure if we can even build it. This should shake anyone up at this point. This is clear admission that these buildings were not built by our current civilization. It's just horrible that they seem to be burning these things down by the day. And they've been doing it for hundreds of years now. Just a reminder to enjoy the ones that we still have. Oh wait, there's more? In January 1862, a fire completely destroyed the house of worship. It was rebuilt in 1863 and stood until Friday's fire. You're telling me this is the second time they burned this place down? I'm guessing the 1862 fire didn't get the job done. And I want to point out one more thing. Did we all catch it? 1862, it was burned, and it was rebuilt in a year in 1863. So they needed to try again and burn it down on Friday. Horrible and so repetitive. The odds that the fires find their way into nearly every old world building is 0%, yet it happens. Why doesn't the fire ever go to a random house right next door instead? Not every house on the block goes up in fire, but every old world building does, and not just once. It happens multiple times. Don't forget that there are a bunch of brand new t-shirts. You can find them right below this video. Every purchase will help support the channel, as well as when you like the video, comment, and when you subscribe to the channel. I couldn't be more thankful for all of the support you guys are giving. Our Twitter account is up and running, and we are over on Rumble as well. Both of these links will be in the description below. If you have anything to add, or have any thoughts on the video, or have any ideas for future videos, just put that in the comments below. Thank you all again for your support, and I hope you all have a great day. I will be back very soon with much more. See ya.
Don't trust what you see. Don't listen to your senses. Trust what you are told.
Whoa. Okay, so we've showed how Russia's map is in the same spot where Tartaria used to be. We've showed the flag, where Russians are trampling Tartaria's griffin. Now let's take this a step further. What language do you think is the most popular language spoken in Russia today? Any guesses? Would you be shocked if I told you the main language in Russia today is Tatar? Thank you for joining me for episode 26 of my lunch break. I hope you're all having a great day, and if you're new, welcome. And I want to give a shout out to our sponsors over on Patreon, Don Gaston and Michael Hastings and Victor Perez. And Jason Brunson. He has EMF blocking hats for sale, and I'll put that in the link in the description below. For only $19.99 a month, you can also be a sponsor of this channel and get a shout out as well. That link will be right in the description below. Thank you all for your support. Here we have a castle in Iowa. Is this normal? Do we just have castles all over Iowa? Of course not. You may say, this is not a castle, this is a chapel. Well, it may be a chapel now, but they definitely didn't leave out the king part. This is now called King Memorial Chapel, located in Mount Vernon, Iowa. This was said to be constructed in just 6 years, in the year 1876, exactly 100 years later, on the dot, added to the National Register of Historic Places. Now this is built on the campus of Cornell College, not the one in New York, of course, since we're in Iowa. So this college gets this, and let's see how it got there. In the summer of 1874, Cornell's board needed a chapel. No ordinary chapel would do, of course. They would need a chapel, suited for a king. King was on the leave, in Europe, of course, because that's where kings live. Nice nod from the narrator. So they didn't have any money. And King said it was going to be a long and agonizing struggle to erect the castle. Remember, this is 1874. It was constructed 2 years later. That's faster than we build most structures today in 2023. Long and agonizing struggle? What is a normal time frame to throw these castles up in the 1800s? A couple months? A week? This is insane. So King finds a trustee. Of course, no name mentioned. Could have been anybody, or in our case, a fictional character, but let's continue. This trustee needs to hold off until they get 15 grand, which is equivalent to $413,000 in 2023. This was right in the middle of the Great Depression. But that was not an issue at all for King. Of course, he got his money. Depression or no depression, it didn't matter. Because he knew a guy, of course. Within a year, the money was raised and construction began. Simple. Now, here it states that the building contractors went bankrupt. Please tell us which contractors, which company. They were so close, they almost gave us a construction company, but fell just short. So this fictional contract company is now gone in the wind, broke. So who comes in to save the day? Day laborers, of course. Just any random day laborer can finish the last third of the castle. No problem, of course, in the 1800s. Any day laborer was as skilled as can be. Any prisoner or day laborer could get the job done. In a few short months, the basement and first floor were completed, thanks to these workaholics. Are we all seeing how ridiculous this story is? What could come next? So this castle has caused the college to go into debt. Cornell was overdrawn by over $18,000. So why continue on? Just stop the project. It is a chapel. No, we must go on. But King, we are in so much debt. Then there is a nationwide financial depression. Nobody is stopping anything. Get my chapel finished. So it was done. Professors' salaries were cut by 20%, and the king took a 40% pay cut. Construction resumed, and we're not told who actually built the rest of it, because it isn't important, of course. Just throw some more money around. Take some money from the teachers, and boom, it's done. Oh, no way. And we know exactly what time it was done at as well. 10:30 a.m. Not 10:31 or 10:29. It was 10:30, and don't forget it. Finally done. What a joke. So 2 years later, seems like Cornell is back on their feet, or maybe they are just racking up the debt, but they spent another grand on a clock for this chapel. Oh, and the clock tower came with 4 bells. Not just any bells. These bells are like, just 2,000 pounds. So yeah, do we need to continue? Or at this point, do we understand that this is not something that was constructed in the 1800s? And this castle is from the old world. This story is absolutely ridiculous. From the finances, to the king, to taking salaries to finish a building that they didn't even need during a Great Depression, and then putting a cherry on top, 4 2,000-pound bells, is insane. It's just insane. The King Memorial Chapel in Iowa was founded and repurposed. This story is just that, a story. It is now a part of his story, and not ours. I would love to visit this chapel one day. This chapel isn't even affiliated with a church. Another nod that this is not a chapel. The King's Castle. Incredible stuff. Once you have open eyes, you can read these stories and see right through them. You can easily see which buildings are from the past civilization, and which ones are not. They don't look anything like our buildings. They are impressive and incredible to look at. The old world buildings are built with perfection and brilliance. When you see one, you know it. You don't need anyone else's fake story to explain it. For example, the Frost Building in Nashville, Tennessee. Do we need a story? Constructed with gray granite, of course. 4 stories high in 1913. How about we just look at it and ask, why do we not make Sunday schools like this anymore? Or we can go right down the road and look at this castle built for your Royal Highness. Highness? No, I mean high school. Tell me why we don't build high school castles anymore. Located on 700 Broadway, opened in 1912 with ease. Can you see the difference between the old world and our world? Are they similar? Even a little bit? Can you see which one is a castle and repurposed into a high school? And which one is not a castle and built by our current civilization? One of these hotels is from the old world, and one will leave the light on for you. One was built in 1891, supposedly. and one was built last year. One was built by a previous civilization and named the Utopia Hotel, located in Nashville, Tennessee. And the other one was built by us. And why are these castles in Portland, Oregon in 1892? This is the Charles Pigott House, an architect that supposedly abandoned the project before even starting it. And we'll be getting into this castle in episode 27, and I cannot wait. And we're also going to be getting into these stairs, located in New Mexico. I sent somebody out there to take a look at them to get some boots on the ground work, and I cannot wait to show you those as well. Don't forget, there's a bunch of brand new t-shirts that came out, and you can find this right below this video. Every purchase really helps support the channel, as well as when you like the video, comment, and when you subscribe to the channel. I couldn't be more thankful for all of the support you guys are giving. Our Twitter account is up and running, and we are over on Rumble as well. Both of these links will be in the description below. If you have anything to add, or have any thoughts on the video, or have any ideas for the future videos, just put that in the comments below. Thank you all for your support, and I hope you all have a great day. I will be back very soon with much more. See ya.
Don't trust what you see. Don't listen to your senses. Trust what you are told.
Whoa. Now, as always, I'm not telling anyone what to think. You're free to think whatever you like. I'm simply sharing my research with all of you. There is technology that is hidden from us. We know this, of course. Cloning is real, and this has been proven. We all know that this technology exists, and most likely has existed before. In fact, in my opinion, this has 100% been happening, much longer than we can ever imagine. Do these so-called elites fully understand and are capable of transferring themselves into a new body, looking exactly the same as they did in the past? Do these same characters come here over and over to play their role? Are some of these characters actors, singers, etc., perfected for that specific role and programmed to manipulate the masses? Is this possible? Of course it's possible. And at this point in my research, I wouldn't say all of them, but I would say it's probable that it is some, and they are good at their role, considering they've done it in the past, many times before, and have possibly manipulated all of us. Thank you for joining me for episode 27 of My Lunch Break. I hope you're all having a great day, and if you're new, welcome. And I want to give a shout out to our sponsors over on Patreon, Don Gaston and Michael Hastings and Victor Perez. And Jason Brunson. He has EMF blocking hats for sale, and I'll put that in the link in the description below. For only $19.99 a month, you can also be a sponsor of this channel and get a shout out as well. That link will be right in the description below. Thank you all for your support. As I mentioned in episode 26, I've sent someone to see the Gothic revival style Loretto Chapel, located in Santa Fe, New Mexico. We are told that this chapel was built in 1878. Today, I'm not too concerned with the building for once. What I want to explore is inside. The spiral staircase. This staircase is immediately intriguing because it does not have a central support pole. This pole normally stabilizes spiral staircases. There were also no nails used. It is held together with wood pegs. Now here, we are going to get a little deeper. Until 1887, this staircase did not even have railings. So how were people walking up and down this spiral staircase with no nails, no central support, no railings? It's just amazing. So this must have been built by the most incredible builder of all time. And I'm sure everyone in the world knew his name. And I'm sure he was praised from the mountaintops for his construction. Now the individual that I sent to this site was told by the staff that these stairs were constructed in 1 week. And I'm not even kidding about this part. He was told that the man showed up one day on a donkey. They told him that engineers today say the staircase should collapse, but it doesn't. And best part of all, after 1 week of this random donkey riding building mastermind, he decided it would be best to leave without payment. And nobody would ever see him or know his name for the rest of time. A random guy pulls up on a donkey, builds this thing, no railings, no support beam, no nails, nothing. And then hits the road on that same donkey 1 week later with no payment. If you think this story is true, should I take it a step further? This was a 2-story high chapel. Why did this chapel have no stairs to begin with? If they did, were they knocked down by the same donkey guy? Was that a part of the 1 week construction process? No, none of this happened. And that part of the story proves it. This staircase was built by the old world, along with this building. It was not built by a random guy years later. What you are seeing are the spiral stairs of the old world. Not only was their stonework incredible, but so was their woodwork. If this was truly built in the 1800s, we would for sure be building them all over the world today. And since evolution is what we're told, they would be even better than the way they were built 200 years ago. Without a doubt. But they aren't. Our civilization is baffled. We think these stairs should collapse. Because if we did that project, they would. Now, I hope you enjoyed that boots on the ground work. I will be going to New York within the year to find incredible things there as well. If you have any places that you think I should go, put that in the comments below. But let's continue on to Oregon. I mentioned that we were going to talk about the Charles Pigott House in episode 26. So here we are. Using double thick brick exterior walls with 11-foot high ceilings and 9-foot windows, mirroring architecture from Rome's Seven Hills. It is a castle overlooking Portland. This is the only castle in Oregon. I'm guessing because they knocked all the other ones down. So here's where the story starts to get weird. Charles Pigott supposedly picks an architect. The architect quits before the project is even done. Then it somehow gets done. And none of us should ever consider asking how. So it's built in 1893, and 1 year later, Pigott has to abandon it. He doesn't even sell it. He just leaves. This nonsense proves to me that this is not a true story at all. It shows that the castle is from the old world, and this Charles Pigott story is nonsense. A quick implant to explain away an old world building. No architect, no construction company. He doesn't even live there for a year, and I bet you he never lived there at all. I was able to find an interesting article where a resident painter, Theodore, said the castle is haunted and made a bunch of weird noises, and something tapped him on the shoulder supposedly. Now, I'm not going to say that the paranormal isn't real, but I do think that making these old world castles and buildings haunted is all a part of the narrative manipulation. It's another tactic to keep us away from them and to not explore them any deeper than we are told. Now we got a bonus today. Let's go to the El Paso, Texas high school. Do we all remember from episode 26 how we were talking about castle high schools and asking why do we not construct castle high schools anymore? Well, check this one out. Welcome to Greece. Oh, I mean Texas. What is going on here? This is incredible and I'd love to see this place. Even before reading anything about it, I can tell that this is from the old world and repurposed. So America has voted this the second best high school football stadium in the USA. Second best? What's better than this? Let's just look and see what beats this thing, just for fun. Mitchell Stadium in Bluefield, West Virginia. Okay, it's cool, but definitely not better than playing in front of the old world columns, in my opinion. Now, they do give us some information on this Texas high school. It was supposedly built by the architectural firm of Trost and Trost, and cost about $500,000 in 1913, which is equivalent to $15,359,949.49 in 2023. So a lot of money, $15.3 million. Now here's where the story slipped up. There was only 39,000 people in El Paso, Texas during this time. The stadium alone was built to seat 12,000 people. Why did this small town need a $15.3 million high school? They didn't. I'm going to show a comparison really quick to give us all an idea of what's going on here. Binghamton High School was built in 1915, at the exact same time as El Paso High School. The only difference is a big one. The city of Binghamton was the fastest growing city in New York. They needed a high school desperately. Oh, and they didn't get Greco-Roman columns. And they paid $100,000 more than El Paso. So construction began in 1913 and completed right up in 36 short months, give or take a few. Because they didn't tell us the exact start date for some reason. Because they didn't start this project, in my opinion. They very clearly needed to make up a date. The good old Trost and Trost company, which used to be Trost and Rust, but Rust died within the year. Of course he did. In a future episode, I'll be getting into the Flushing High School, the oldest public school in New York City on record. It will be a good one. I'm looking forward to sharing. I hope you all enjoyed today's Boots on the Ground work. That was made possible by all of you and all of your support. Don't forget, there's a bunch of brand new t-shirts. You can find that right below this video. Every purchase helps support the channel and goes towards more Boots on the Ground work. Liking the video and commenting really helps to share this video with new people, as well as when you subscribe to the channel. I couldn't be more thankful for all of the support you guys are giving. Our Twitter account is up and running, and we are over on Rumble as well. Both of those links will be in the description below. If you have anything to add, or have any thoughts on the video, or have any ideas for future videos, just put that in the comments below. Thank you for all your support, and I hope you all have a great day. I'll be back very soon with much more. See ya.